What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Bonnie Scotch. Thank you so much for tuning into my video today. I wanted to bring you a little side conversation as it is related to RHOA. Now, I'm sure many of you know this already, but former housewife of New York, Bethenny Frankel, has a podcast, and she sat down with former producer Patrick McDonald for a conversation. Now, before we get into it, I need you all to go ahead and hit the like button for me to let YouTube know that you're rocking with my commentary. YouTube will start to push my content out in the algorithm. Also, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And of course, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting. Now, before we get into Patrick McDonald's commentary, I wanted to say this. In my time of watching Bravo for the past 15 years or so, I've come to the conclusion that Bravo loves violence, scams, schemes, and fraud. But today we're going to focus on the violence of one housewife in particular. It appears as though she set the stage for a lot of the romper room foolishness that is currently going down at RHOA. That is none other than Porsha Peach Juice Williams. I like to call her Porsha Ali, Porsha Tyson, Porsha Mayweather, and Incredible Hulk.
Colombia, Cartagena, where we almost all died in a boating the boat incident,
yeah.
where there were only 2 life vests. I mean, there are a lot of things like that that are a different version of liability. There's mental health, there's substance abuse, then there's danger liability. Have you experienced a bit of that too, where you're like, what the hell? This is not safe on trips?
Absolutely. My very first international catch trip. The first international catch trip I took was for Real Housewives of Atlanta spinoff called Porsha's Family Matters. I think that a lot of these incidents that happen could be corrected by having standards and practices person present on set, because it doesn't exist.
Like a COVID compliance person that was there making sure that things were
Exactly. There should be someone put there in place by the network or maybe a third party or something.
No, a reality compliance person. Yes, it's like a COVID compliance person. I said this.
Exactly. Hey, cameraman, when was the last time you got a bathroom break? But yeah, we took the cast to Mexico for this healing retreat. You know how we love a healing retreat on these housewife shows, which are everything but. We were at a cast dinner where a brawl broke out between her entire family. I found myself having to pry a metal pole out of Porsha's hand that she was trying to use to bash another cast member's face in with, who happened to be the father of her child. Yes. During that brawl, I mean, it went on for quite some time. Not only was she swinging this metal pole around, which could have hit anyone at any time.
Wow.
And this was all on the show. You see me grab this pole, wrestle it out of her hand, and take it away.
They aired the crew?
They aired a very watered down version of it. It would go to black. It would occasionally go to black, so they didn't have to show it. I mean, not only is she using this metal pole to try to hit people with, swinging it around crew members with not a care in the world about anyone, throwing clay pots, throwing plates that are breaking over cameraman's heads. Throwing knives.
Jesus.
There were cameramen that were there at this thing that chimed in on these videos online. I was there. Yes, that happened.
Wow.
But yeah, and so just complete chaos ensued. We were kicked out of the restaurant that we were shooting in, and the police impounded all of our crew vehicles. So all of the crew vehicles were taken. So the entire crew and cast is left scrambling, scattered about the streets of Mexico, wandering around trying to find our way back to our hotel, because we were kicked out of our location because of this crazy fight that's ensued. I mean, it was pure chaos, The next day, Porsha didn't even talk about it. We had learned later that day, Porsha reached out to her entire family and told them, don't talk about this on the show, because if we don't talk about it, they can't air the fight. So obviously that didn't happen.
Oh, wow.
So they eventually started talking about it. But then a week or so later, we were back in the States, and I was shooting a scene with her cousin and her aunt or something. And, in the beats, it's like we're talking about what happened on the trip, And so like I'm telling the cast like, oh, okay, well maybe we should touch base on how we're feeling after everything that happened on the trip. And so they start talking about the stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, that gets back to Porsha, and Porsha calls the production company that I'm trying to like coerce them to talking about this, on camera.
What about the mental health of the crew and how the crew feels about the subject matter, about the Porsha fight, about the Morocco Brandy Caroline incident, about the Shannon Bedore, about the Scary Island? Like, what is the crew's moral dilemma, or are they just machines that are just they don't, you know what I mean? Like,
I can speak to the Porsha fight. I mean, they were all extremely upset after that. They were like, this is so fucked up. Like, we can't work like this. We shouldn't be having to do this, and the real kicker for that was like, Porsha didn't even like acknowledge it, until she was like made to. A day went by and Porsha had said nothing to the crew or anything until they were like, you have to say something. She gave this like very, very, very quick little apology that she really clearly wanted to like breeze through.
Like check the box.
Yeah. So they were very like put off by that. And yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been like, it's been late night at a trip, going back to do producer cam. Like, all right, we got to go back and get the ladies having fun in their rooms. And like, these ladies are so exhausted. A lot of times, like they just traveled, 20 something hours to get there too. They haven't gotten a lot of rest. And I've literally had to tell them like, all right, ladies, I need everybody up dancing. Let's take some, let's like, who wants drinks? Let's get some drinks. Let's have some fun. Get the energy up here. You know what I mean? Because that's what we're told to tell them.
Does exhaustion help drama?
They're like tired. They're like all like dead. And they're like, okay, then they get up and dance. It's like dance, pony, dance.
Is there any aspect of it where the exhaustion helps the drama, the alcohol helps the drama, like that production knows that, like they're tired, so they're going to do and say stupid shit?
1,000%. I think that the model of these trips to pack so much in to such a short amount of time, I think was designed to push people to their limits. You know what I mean? To push these cast members to their limits. These long days, long events where a lot of alcohol is happening. Yeah.
The residual aspect of that is the trips are designed to push people to their limits. So somebody has to be filming that. So the crew who's not making the same money, getting the same fame, having the same decisions, power, and relevance is experiencing the same exhaustion, but with no upside.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what you're saying. Because I'm trying to get to what overall this is for the crew. And that's what I've now, at the end of this interview, come to. You are basically saying that all of this drama that goes on that is making housewives cry, ruin their lives, the desperation, the circular reference, the crew is experiencing all of it and more because they're lugging equipment and having to capture it and have to stay in shitty hotel rooms, but they get none of the upside.
And can be replaced at a moment's notice without,
So it's all downside while you're watching these other people drive in Rolls Royces and you guys are there to produce. Yeah.
It's so wild to me that after the countless violent encounters Porsha Ali instigated, she was still rewarded with a spin-off show somehow. Do you know the damage that throwing a plate across the room can cause? The weight of a plate hurled at someone's head or face, hell, any body part really. She was in there throwing clay pots and knives, y'all. That's called assault with a deadly weapon where I'm from.
She's a rabid dog, and this is a scary scene. I'm gonna catch that bitch. She's not on me. What's wrong with her? And she kicked me in my stomach.
Porsha really has some big nerve. The fact that she told her people not to speak about the family fisticuffs so it wouldn't air is really wild to me. You don't get to act like a wild boar and then go on about your day like nothing ever happened. Like you didn't tear up them people's restaurant. I think the average person would be immediately apologetic for their disgusting and violent ways, but the fact that she had to be coerced into an apology and gave a half-assed apology at that, girl, this is indicative of a bigger issue at Bravo, the culture at Bravo. Where is the line? In a world of violence, scams, schemes, fraud, and bogus green cards, it feels as though Bravo's casting process is a playground for criminals and the mentally unstable. Porsha has been a liability from her violence to the nasty and vicious allegations that she spreads. No wonder they welcomed Mrs. Smith, aka Britt Eady, with open arms. Porsha punched and pelted plates so Britt Eady could pow pow. Colombiana let it be known that she keeps that thing on her.
Every time, and I keep my pistol with me always.
I thought this was supposed to be Real Housewives of Atlanta, a show about the comings and goings about these opulent women afforded a certain luxurious lifestyle by their husbands. When did this become the Wild Wild West? When did it become WWE and WrestleMania?
Can I have her shoes?
It's bad enough y'all got this unhinged clown running loose. Now y'all hired Britt Eady, who's talking about pistols and whips, and then the other day she mentioned locks. In my first mind, I assumed that she was talking about beating up people with locks, but then I thought to myself, is Cynthia in the room with them? And I know she didn't have no issues with Cynthia, so surely she's talking about, just locking up her luggage to prevent the women from stealing from her. So, y'all, I really wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, but the more I thought about it, and the more I thought about the way she snarled and got aggressive with Angela when she asked her a simple question, I am left with no other conclusion but she came in there with a weapon, openly bragging about carrying weapons for the ladies. Now, some of you may be unfamiliar with this technique, but sometimes people put locks in socks, or they'll put a bar of soap in a sock and beat somebody with it. So that is what she was alluding to. It doesn't seem to me as though Bravo has created a safe work environment. It feels like a very violent and hostile work environment. If Porsha Tyson and Cadet Kelly's behavior is accepted, then why is Kenya Moore not here? Why was Kenya's cry for help not taken seriously? She wouldn't have been in a position to expose anyone's nude photographs if the threats were taken seriously in the first place. But anyway, y'all, those were my thoughts and opinions. Go ahead and get down in the comments with me. Let me know how you felt about what Patrick McDonald had to say. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button on your way out. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting. And I will see y'all for the next one. Peace.
I bind this attack of the enemy in the name of Jesus Christ. I bind you, Satan. You got to go now.
Can I have her shoes?
Come on. It's me, Al Grande. Or call me Papi Chulito. Yo tengo mucho loving for you mommies if you legal. For honeys, nothing equal to the way I tap that spot. Get your cat hot. Guess what? You hit the jackpot. Candlelight dinners for you winners. See, I'm like Don Juan. Beat me, sweetie. I get in ya. Sugar, I'ma put you in a beautiful...